Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Estranged daughter Lindsie Chrisley calls out Todd's gossip. Lindsie Chrisley is speaking out about Todd Chrisley's gossip. As TV shows Ace previously reported, Todd shared a new cryptic post on Instagram. Some fans assumed that it was about his relationship with his estranged daughter. He loves to post cryptic messages on social media. Even though he's blunt, he doesn't always share what's on his mind. What's also interesting is that Lindsie shared a similar message just a week ago. She shared a cryptic message about loose lips. This time, Todd delivered a hard, cold truth on gossip. Find out why this innocent quote sparked a new war between the father and daughter. Todd Chrisley is back to his shady ways. On Sunday, March 27th, Todd Chrisley shared a message that didn't sit right with Lindsie Chrisley. Even though she separated herself from her family, she's still watching them closely on social media. What Lindsie Chrisley doesn't see is that she's a lot like her father. Both of them like to share cryptic posts on social media. However, he shared a quote about gossip that made her angry. Todd shared the following post on his Instagram feed. The quote reads, "Imagine how different the gossip would hit if both sides of the story were told." Todd captioned the post, "Just saying." Most fans took to the comment section to share their thoughts on his post. They were in agreement with the sentiment of the message. Little did they know this would spark a new war between the father and daughter duo. Lindsie Chrisley also caught wind of Todd's Instagram post. This caused her to lose her cool on Monday. It's unlike her since she normally doesn't speak out about her family on social media. Lindsie and Todd even agreed not to speak about each other in the media. Lindsie Chrisley called out Todd's post. On Monday, March 28th, Lindsie Chrisley reshared Todd's cryptic post to her Instagram stories. She had plenty to say about this post in particular. Lindsie wrote, "This will age well. Very well. Happy Monday, folks. Does this mean that Todd thinks Lindsie's claims about him and the family are just gossip? Or is he talking about something else?" Last week, Lindsie was accused of trolling her father on TikTok. She shared a video of herself with her Coffee Convos co-host Kaylin Lowry. The two ladies were seen walking silly and making funny faces. Lindsie Chrisley said that's what sneaking out of Todd's house was like. There are also rumors that she could also release her own tell-all book about her strained relationship with her dad. Todd may think she's spreading gossip about him. The morning sun glowed through the half-drawn blinds as Lindsie Chrisley sat at her small kitchen table in Georgia, tapping the edge of her coffee mug. She'd been up since dawn, scrolling through messages that pinged her phone every few minutes. Clips, screenshots, and fan tags flooded her notifications, each one a reminder that her father, Todd Chrisley, had once again made headlines by gossiping about her on his newest podcast appearance. Her stomach twisted. He just couldn't help himself, could he? Even after all the distance, all the years of silence, every healing boundary she tried to build, Todd always found a way to slip her name into the spotlight. Across the table, her dog, Baby, lifted her head, sensing the tension. Lindsie sighed, rubbing Baby's ears as she whispered, "I didn't ask for this today. Or any day. But the universe had delivered it to her doorstep anyway." A father's words, a daughter's wound. A fan page had sent her the clip around 6 a.m. In it, Todd spoke with the ease of an old Southern storyteller. Funny, charming, dramatic. That charm had made him a reality TV icon for years. But today it was razor sharp. "I haven't heard from Lindsie at all," Todd said into the mic, his tone dripping with disappointment. "Not a call, not a message. But I hear things. People tell me she's been talking about the family again. Bless her heart, she always loved attention." Lindsie closed her eyes. There it was. The little Southern backhanded sweetness. The bless her heart that felt like getting your reputation dunked in sweet tea and tossed to the gossip wolves. The internet lit up immediately. Fans dissecting it, news outlets reposting it, and strangers in comment sections choosing sides. She was tired of it, tired of being depicted as a daughter too cold to pick up the phone, too proud to reconcile. No one knew the full story. No one understood the heartbreak, the broken trust, the years of pretending things were fine when they were anything but. And now Todd was out there again, spreading his version. Lindsie decides to speak. She opened her laptop, fingers hovering over the keyboard. She didn't want drama. She avoided it at all costs. She'd been the quiet one during the family's darkest chapters, choosing privacy rather than public sparring. But this felt final. A deep, throbbing ache reminded her why the estrangement existed in the first place. She started typing. "For years, I've chosen silence out of respect for my family. But when gossip is turned into entertainment at my expense, I won't sit by quietly. The words flowed like they'd been trapped inside her for years. My father knows exactly why we're estranged. He knows the pain, the betrayal, the things that happen behind closed doors. To act confused publicly is not honesty. It's performance. She paused, her throat tightening. She didn't want to villainize him. She didn't want to start a digital war. But she needed to speak, if only to defend her boundaries. Baby nudged her leg as if encouraging her to finish. Gossip is not love. Guilt is not reconciliation. And public sympathy is not an apology. I wish healing for everyone involved, my father included, but healing requires truth. She read it not twice. Theatrics. It was firm but not cruel. Honest but not vindictive. She clicked post. Within seconds it took off like wildfire. The internet reacts. Her phone buzzed non-stop, friends texting support, strangers cheering her for standing up for herself, others demanding tea and chaos. Reporters reached out, influencers stitched the post, and podcasts began analyzing the Chrisley family saga all over again. But what surprised her most was the divided reaction from fans. Some wrote, "Good for Lindsie. Todd needs to stop dragging his own daughter." Others insisted, "Todd is hurting too, why can't she reach out first?" And of course there were those who loved the spectacle. "Oh, the Chrisleys are fighting again. Season 10, baby." Lindsie shut her phone off. The noise was too much. She walked outside onto her small patio, breathing in the crisp air. She wished the world understood that real families, real wounds, weren't plotlines for public consumption. Not everything was meant to be a storyline, a headline, or a ratings boost. Sometimes it was just pain. Private pain. Todd's reaction. Meanwhile, miles away in Tennessee, Todd saw her statement almost immediately. Sitting in his study, dressed in one of his perfectly pressed designer shirts, he scrolled through her words over and over. His jaw tightened, not in anger but in something more complicated. Wounded pride, regret, frustration, maybe even love he didn't know how to show anymore. Why would she say that? He muttered, though deep down he already knew. Julie, watching him from the doorway, offered gently, "Todd, she has her reasons." He didn't respond. He never liked facing the idea that he might have been wrong, especially when it came to his children. But for the first time in a long time, he didn't rush to make a public statement. He didn't call his manager or ask for his podcast team. He simply put the phone down and stared at the wall, feeling the weight of something he'd been avoiding for years. A moment of reflection. As evening fell, Lindsie curled up on her couch, exhausted. The adrenaline had faded, leaving behind a mixture of fear and relief. She'd spoken her truth, but she had no idea what the fallout would be, whether it would spark more conflict or quietly fade away. A notification lit up her phone. She almost ignored it, but when she glanced at the screen, her breath caught. It was from a number she hadn't seen in a very long time. "Todd." His message was short. "I hear you. I didn't realize how much my words still hurt you. I'm sorry for that. I hope someday we can talk, not for the cameras, not for fans. Just us." Lindsie stared at the message, her chest tightening with emotions she wasn't ready to unpack. Anger, confusion, hope, and fear of hoping too much. She didn't reply, not yet. Maybe not for a long time. Healing wasn't instant. It wasn't a social media post or a quick apology. It was a process. But for the first time in years, the door, just a crack, didn't feel completely shut. A new chapter slowly beginning. Lindsie placed her phone face down and leaned back, exhaling deeply. She wasn't reconciled with her father. She wasn't even sure she wanted to be. But she had found her voice. And for tonight, that was enough. Whatever happened next, publicly or privately, would happen on her terms. Not as a storyline. Not as gossip. But as a woman choosing her peace over someone else's spotlight. And in that quiet Georgia living room, Lindsie allowed herself something she hadn't felt in a long time. A little bit of hope.